What's going on, YouTube? It's Chris here from Friendly Frenzy Games, and today I'm going to share some general upgrading tips as well as let you know exactly what it's going to take for total resources to make sure that you're able to unlock everything craftable at the Fabrication Station. Now, just as a heads up, in case you didn't already know, unlocking everything at the Fabrication Station will unlock you the extremely rare achievements of Garage Barrage and DIY Master. Now, I've already put together a video for the best auto shop upgrades and the Garage Barrage trophy specifically, so check the card at the top of this video if you want to learn more about that one. In this video, I'm going to focus more solely on the DIY Master achievement, as well as make some suggestions on early equipment to craft to help you progress your way through the Outer Zone, Mid Zone, and Deep Zone in Pacific Drive. So to start us off at a very high level, let's go over all of the resources that you're going to need to have accumulated and spent to unlock every craftable item at the Fabrication Station outside of the Garage tab. As a general note here, all of the tabs at the Fabrication Station, aside from the Garage tab, unlock blueprints for you to then repeatedly craft an item, whereas the Garage tab, you're actually fabricating the item once for permanent use. Now, for this reason, you're going to require much less resources for the items outside of the Garage tab, but you will need a considerable amount of energy just due to the sheer amount of craftable unlocks. So for energy, you're going to need 48.5 stable energy, 31 unstable energy, and 26.9 corrupt energy. Again, to keep resource total simple, similar to the Garage Barrage video, I'm going to break down all of the required refined resources like gears and steel sheets into their basic materials. So for example, one gear is going to equal 3 scrap metal, one steel sheet is going to equal 6 scrap metal, etc. With that said, let's get to the resources required to unlock all of the craftable equipment aside from the Garage tab items at the Fabrication Station. So in total, you're going to need 272 scrap metal, 210 fabric, 112 plastic, 20 tree candy, 20 glass shards, 20 Olympium fragments, 8 electronics, 4 duct tape, and 4 copper wire. Now that really probably doesn't seem too bad, does it? But you couple that with the resource requirements for the Garage tab items and the Garage Barrage trophy, and we get required combined energy and resource totals of 58.8 stable, 46.9 unstable, and 38.3 corrupt energy, 1,003 scrap metal, 600 marsh eggs, 436 plastic, 210 fabric, 116 electronics, 104 thermosap crystals, 90 rubber, 71 copper wire, 62 glass shards, 62 Olympium fragments, 41 plasma, 40 tree candy, 23 limb magnets, 13 chemicals, 7 gas cylinders, and 4 duct tape. Now that still probably doesn't seem too bad, but what you do want to keep in mind also is that the majority of these resources really only grant you the opportunity to craft these items. That means you're still going to need to spend a considerable amount of time grinding for materials to ultimately craft these desired tools and car components. Don't forget also that as a requirement to craft these blueprints for many different pieces of equipment at the Fabrication Station, you're also going to need to have unlocked the piece before it in the tree, and you may also need to have scanned a specific anomaly, which can be time consuming as well. So to kick off the general tip section of this video, if you're just starting out in Pacific Drive and need some direction on what to unlock first, I would again highly recommend watching our Garage Barrage achievement video after this one to let you know which auto shop upgrades will help you the most for your specific stage in the game. But if you're looking for some ideas on how to best navigate crafting in Pacific Drive, consider these few tips. Our first tip here: refine resources as soon as you possibly can and research components to outfit your car with a combination of doors, panels, bumpers, headlights, and wheels that are going to allow you to mitigate potential damage taken along your planned route. Now this is obviously by things like anomalies and junction conditions. For example, you're going to encounter many lightning-based anomalies in the outer zone, which is the very beginning of the game, so be sure to incorporate some insulated panels into your steel shell. In the mid-zone, corrosive anomalies and junction conditions become much more common, so you're likely best to switch out any insulated pieces for anti-corrosive, and then ultimately upgrade your steel components to armored. My second tip, you're likely going to receive massive benefits from unlocking any and all expansion racks as soon as possible. That's because these are going to open a maximum of 6 additional equipment slots that aren't available to you at the very beginning of the game, and they're going to allow you to incorporate many useful container items like additional storage, fuel tanks, and additional batteries, as well as some utility items like the resource radar and battery chargers. But there's also protection items that you can equip like the ion shield. Now obviously, depending on your play style and what equipment seems to be the most interesting or useful to you, this is going to determine which tab to place your focus on next in the Fabrication Station. Either way though, all of these slots add an abundance of flexibility to your vehicle and have likely as much bearing on a run's success as your components. As a third tip here, as you push into the mid-zone and deep zone, you're likely going to be using your scrapper just a little bit less. Now for this reason, you can probably delay upgrading your tools until you've at least unlocked all 6 expansion racks, so long as you've got enough scrap metal to actually create them. The mid-zone is where you're going to be using the impact hammer and hand vac much more frequently to collect the most valuable resources in this area, that being the thermosap crystals, tree candy, and marsh eggs. And upgrading the hand vac to the thermal version makes collecting tree candy much easier. Lastly here, as enticing as engines are to upgrade, the actual materials required for crafting these are astronomical. You're probably likely better off putting the 4 energy per engine to use somewhere else, unless you've already worked your way through our first couple of tips here. Now I'm hoping that these quick crafting tips and DIY Master Achievement Trophy Guide helped you. If it did, be sure to give it a like and drop a comment. While you're here, subscribe to Friendly Frenzy Games for much more gaming content.